ministry. When the Eden come to children stepwise. Even though they make mention of them and those, fire burn never be friend. Fire burn. You know why? You know why? Yes, them have the heart of a pagan. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil are move with Satan. Righteous trod in the countenance of the Almighty One. Them have the heart of demons. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil are move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Good people see hostility rising daily. Ignorant multiply brutality. We I see that they run gone left mommy. Fish struggle the hard road with five beginning. Our I see baby having baby. Nothing that happen now do not seems to amaze we. We know that is the fulfillment of prophecy. Our I see them no build school is church and penitentiary. Church, dead be penitentiary never empty. Still playing a mental trick on me. Listen, you check you and me check me, and let's bring more love in the black community. Them are the heart of a pagan. The children of the heart of a lion, I know. Evil are move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. No. Them are the heart of demons. The children of the heart of a lion, I know. Evil are move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Respect the father of the prophet Moses and Abraham. You have to respect the father of Jacob and Solomon. Respect the creator of many nations. He made the birds, he made the beasts, the fishes of the ocean, and fastened them together with his mighty. And he made the man, he made woman, children, the future of the land. So who is due to disrespect the creator man? 72 nations bow down and crown him conquering one. It would be beautiful in the sight of God the Holy One to see the unification of my nation. Them have the heart of a pagan. Watch them. The children of the heart of a lion, I know. Evil and move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Them have the heart of demons. The children of the heart of a lion, I know. Evil and move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Good people see hostility rising daily. Ignorant mon.
985, hey, I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot to say. So listen. What you learning, nigga? Shit I wanna know. Fuck that goddamn church, man, that shit that gotta go. Yes, I'm from the south, and best believe I'm throwing foes. Soldier for the Lord, man, that's just the life I chose. If you in a church, who goddamn you is a foe? Other words, what nigga, man, y'all niggas, y'all be hoes. Man, y'all soft as hell, sister, when they kick your door. Never got the fear, you BK up in the door. Yeah, let's talk about it, man. Fuck that church. They don't understand, man. We the salt of the earth. The longer you up in the church, man, you lose your worth. And they got a man, so I'm hitting a purse. Man, I'm just saying, yeah, man, they put a script. Got a man out your way, motherfucking lipstick. In other words, a nigga, man, they turn a man feminine. Ain't no got a man, all my men wanna be women. Hey. I'm just saying, man. As you can see, we in the end times, and this shit about to end. A new kingdom finna be built here at 985. ISUPK shit. Gang. What you learning, nigga? Shit I wanna know. Fuck that goddamn church, man, that shit that gotta go. Yes, I'm from the south, best believe I'm throwing foes. Soldier for the Lord, man, that's just the life I chose. If you in a church, who goddamn you is a foe? Other words, but nigga, man, y'all niggas, y'all be hoes. Man, y'all soft as hell, sit there when they kick your door. Never got them fear, you BK up in the door.
Your type of hate. We're not going to burn crosses in your yard. We're not going to hang you on trees. We'll just never marry your daughters. We won't smoke your drugs. We won't go to prison. We won't kill each other no more. We won't do no crimes. because that is what strengthens you. Our wickedness strengthens you. So we're going to show you a new type of hatred. We're going to show you what hatred really looks like. And the way you do that is you just separate.
And that's how you do it. That's what we do. We risk our lives so we can separate. So our people can separate. That's what it all boils down to. He said, you got the cajon.
All right, clap it up. All right, Shalom Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Shout out to 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Junior Hunter. Today is ISUPK's Austin's Monday History Breakdown class. For today's class, we're going to be going over the crimes committed against the Northern Kingdom. Why? Because the majority of the reason why we know who we are, we know we God's chosen people, is through the punishments that we deal with on a daily basis, or we deal with in the past to how we got here. Now, with that being said, if that's being the number one marker, how to identify who we are, then we should be able to identify anybody with this marker, the Northern Kingdom or the Southern Kingdom. And we can, of course, identify that the Northern Kingdom is the Native Americans, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans are Israelites because they went through the same thing the so-called Negro did here in America, right? They deal with the same type of trauma we experienced, the same type of oppression, the same type of death and murder we did. That's what they did. And with that reason, we're going to show you, we're going to start off with the Deuteronomy chapter 28, right? If you can, please give me Deuteronomy 28:1 real quick.
Con, you hear me?
I get you.
All right, it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now, what you got to understand from the Most High God, the position he wants you in is not the position that you have yourself in right now. Meaning that you might think that you have a good job. You might think that you have a nice things, a nice house, that you're doing well with yourself. But that's nothing compared to what the Most High God wanted for you. And that's why when Adam and Eve, they got kicked out the garden, that was their punishment because they was living life. What more can they have? And that way is how the serpent deceived Eve, because all they was God. What she said you should become as a God, but she had everything. The Lord put them on. The Lord gave them the law, the wisdom, the knowledge, and it was above everybody else. And look at them, well, they wanted more. Now we in a situation is the opposite. And now we don't have nothing and we don't want nothing more. You know what I mean? We got nothing in this place, and since we don't want what the Lord wants for us, we're not gonna fight for it. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna fight for nothing the Lord wants us to want because we don't know what being content is. We shouldn't be content and having our children getting shot down in the streets. We shouldn't be content and giving our children a talk, because they might not make it past 21 when they see a police. It should be content for all that, man. Dealing with what we got to go through. You know what I mean? So what we gotta understand is that as long as what we want, what the Lord's want, then we get out of this position. Now, bang, we are in this position from not wanting what the Lord want. Because from not wanting what the Lord want, what would you do? You were like, well, if I don't want what you're trying to give me, I'm not gonna follow your direction. You know what I mean? I mean, you want to give me this, but I don't want it, so I'm gonna do my own thing. I mean, obeying your commandments ain't worth, what you're trying to give me. I'd rather just not obey you and live the life I'm living right now. I like my little, my slave I go to every day. They treat me good over there. I don't have to follow your commandments. I love going to slave, and after I go to slave, I love getting high. That's what I love to do, right? I love doing that. So why serve you? And this is why what you got to see, the brother going to jump down to verse 15, and you're going to see why, of course, the Lord don't work like that. You know what I mean? When you come in this world and you a black Hispanic Native American, you are under a covenant because of your fathers. You just you don't choose, right? Now go to verse 15. We're gonna find out why. You're gonna see that just because you don't believe ain't gonna change nothing, right? Go to verse 15.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, you look in the state, the condition as Black and Hispanics and Native Americans are in today, and you gotta ask yourself, why in the hell are we going through what we're going through? I mean, only a wise person would ask that. I mean, you don't have to be wise to ask that. You like, man, this ain't right. I don't understand what we're doing wrong. We don't harm nobody. We don't blow up no twin towers. We don't go shoot up no schools. I mean, damn, I don't shoot up no churches. We fought to integrate with you. We love your women. We love your men. We give all your money. We give all our money to you. What's happening? Right? What's happening? It's because we disobeyed God. Now, because us disobeying God, we got to suffer the consequences because, you don't have the decisions. This ain't like, this ain't no religion. It's a culture. And we serve the real God. Anything else, you play by the rules of that book. But if I don't want to, if I want to be an NBA player, my life is not revolved around the rules of the NBA. But when I'm an NBA player, I got to follow those rules. Right? That's not like that with the Most High God and what we have going on right here. You can't be like, well, I'm not calling myself an Israelite, so I'm not going to play by Israelite rules. And let me tell you something. All you Black and Hispanics and Native Americans out there who want to say you Gentile so bad, they don't give a damn. Keep calling yourself a Gentile, but you're going to have to be subjected unto God's laws, man. And you seeing every day when God keep on killing and killing and killing. People are dying because they disobeying God. And you have to die because why? Why you got to die? Because that will make the Lord unjust. If the Lord didn't punish you, he would be unjust. He wouldn't be a just God. Right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to read. I want to get a precept in Romans. Let's get Romans. If you Tawab to read Romans 3:3 real quick, then we're going to jump into the lesson. If everything's Tawab, you don't have to have your camera on. You can just read.
All right. Romans, the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3. So, you said verse 3, right?
Khan.
All right. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
And so what if some brothers didn't believe? Brother, I know what you're talking about, brother. But Egypt, Kemet is the way, brother. The NOI, the Nation of Islam is the way, brother. When I smoke weed, brother, that opened my third eye. That's the way we got to do. I understand what you're saying, but I can't follow that way. What's going to happen to them? You think they're going to stop? Like, this because we believe and you don't. You think we on this two different things? No, keep reading. Verse 5. Verse 4.
Verse 4. God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar.
God forbid. God forbid. I mean, you're going to get judged just like any other man. You're going to get judged. Keep going.
Come, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
Read verse 5.
Verse 5. But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous who taketh vengeance?
What Christians say? Christians, they have a way of thinking that when I'm doing good in life, I rejoice in God. I glorify God. When I'm doing bad, God is the most messed up power in the world. You know what I mean? You live in a disgusting lifestyle and you still benefiting from it. You know how much mercy you got to have on somebody to do, like you doing all the laws against God and you rich, you got all of this, got nice things. Then when you lose something, you like, man, forget God. So it's saying like, is he unrighteous now because he took what he gave to you away when you disobeyed him? Verse 6.
Verse 6. God forbid. For then how shall God judge the world?
God forbid. So how God should judge the world? So now we understand that he judges through what? Us being what? Either righteous or unrighteous. Through our disobedience, he judged us. How? You in your eyes, you say he judged us bad way, but him judging us a bad way makes him righteous. You understand? Now let's get into the lesson. We're gonna get this. We're gonna start off. Of course, what I said the class is crimes committed against the Northern Kingdom. A lot of people always talk about the things we experience as the so-called Negro here in America. The Northern Kingdom experienced just as much, if not worse, what we experience. A lot of people don't even understand is that the slave trade started with them before it even started with us. So to think about how matter of fact, let's read into it, right? All right. It says histories of the transatlantic slave trade typically focus on those enslaved in the North American colonies and often overlook its southern counterpart. So what? It's even talking about those who's enslaved in what North America today, right? Not today, but back then. We still enslaved, right? But you understand the point. It says, however, those enslaved in North America during the colonial period were a minority, meaning what? Only 6% of Africans were taken to the east coast of North America between 1500 and 1870. So what we understand, they say Africans, but we know who these people were. Was us, right? Africans, they say, oh, is Africans selling Africans? No, it was Africans selling the Jews. Now, the reason why I'm saying 6% was 6%, not as in the total race, but compared to how many people they took of the Native Americans, right? I don't want nobody going around with like, they only took 6% of us, then where everybody else? We need to go to Africa, get everybody else. No, all right? Slave imports from Africa were overwhelmingly taken to South America and the Caribbean, right? Although Southern United States is renowned for its past brutality toward the slave population, those enslaved in areas such as Brazil, Colombia, and Bolivia experience a much harsher reality, meaning what? You talk about the crimes they committed against the so-called Negro here, they committed, if not worse, crimes against the so-called Indians. You got the North American Indians and Taino Indians. We talking about the whole just Northern Kingdom for right now, right? They experienced a lot of things, right? It says, yet not unlike North America, slavery existed in South America even before African slave importation transformed the region's landscape. So why is it saying, yet not unlike North America? You would think, well, Christopher Columbus came here, that's what he started. What people don't understand is Christopher Columbus never landed in North America. People get mistaken because you think about the 13 colonies. He never landed in North America. He landed in South America, right? After Christopher Columbus' discovery of the Americas in 1492, much of South America was divided between the Spanish and the Portuguese, right? With the treaty, right, in 1494, right? I'm not gonna butcher that word. Tordesillas. It's like a Spanish word, right? But when the Europeans arrived in South America, they enslaved the native inhabitants and used them as free labor force to work on their mines and the cotton, sugar, coffee, and tobacco plantations. This sounds like the so-called Negro. You talking about cotton, sugar, coffee, tobacco on plantations? This is before that we was enslaved. Before, right? Salakia. That were being developed. Moreover, shortly after the European colonization, natives of these regions rapidly decreased in number. Natives of these regions rapidly decreased in number. Rapidly. We're not talking about, usually we talk about stuff leaving fast. You're not talking about, animals, bugs. We're talking about humans. How can a human rapidly decrease in number? Unless somebody's doing what? Killing them. And not killing them for a reason. We had to be killing them for what? Sport. Right? The Europeans that came to America brought with them diseases that the Native Americans were unaccustomed to. Right? Now, people think like, what? Oh, yeah, they just, as if it was meaningless. Like it was harmless how they did it. We just from two different places. Accident. But they gave them these things. You know what I mean? How come we never had all these things? We wasn't disgusting people. Right. That's why if you got children here in America, you need to get your child shots because America's a disgusting place. All the things they do is disgusting. But back then, we was clean people. You come in, you got all these diseases in the first place? How you bring all these diseases that we never knew of? Right? What was you different doing than we was doing? Who knows? We was doing all that bestiality. You was eating what you wasn't supposed to be eating, and what? Homosexuality. And that's what the Lord says, separate from these people, because when you join these people, goddamn, you join with all the diseases. You know what I'm saying? And this is why we messed up, because we opened these people up. We said, hell no, who these people is. Right? Now, I'm keep going. It says diseases such as measles, influenza, mumps, typhus, and smallpox were detrimental to the Indian inhabitants of South America. Realize we're saying South America. Now, one thing you gotta understand that, a lot of people don't understand about smallpox. But smallpox is a very, very, very strong disease. Like it could be they talk about COVID, it could be an outbreak like that, which is like locked up in them CDC. I don't want to say the CDC, is it? They be doing all the disease and controlling all that stuff. It's locked down deep down because it's like a high level, outbreak if it came out, right? Now, detrimental to the Indian inhabitants of South America, such diseases had a profound effect on native mortality during this period. Yet historians are not quite sure of the exact figures of devastation it caused. However, it has been estimated in Americas as the whole, the native Indians would number 50 million in 1500. By 1600, after 100 years of forced labor, colonization, and disease, they numbered a mere 8 million. By 1650, some estimate that 90% of the native population had died. The colonization of South America was therefore devastating to Indian inhabitants, and the laws have been described as one of the largest demographic disasters in human history. It was then when the Europeans of South America turned to Africa for a new labor force to be the new backbone of the agriculture economy. Salakia. But what I wanted to touch on that was that these people then killed these people so much, then drained them down so much, and led them to us. They didn't use it's like they was forced to come to us because they done beat down our brothers so bad, killed them down so bad. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, when you gotta understand this, when people say, oh, it's about money, it's about power. That's what slavery was about. Well, people say they don't know the damn they talk about, because if slavery was about money and power, why are you killing all your goddamn money? Why are you killing your property? I never seen somebody have a farm full of cows and goats and sheep, and what they do in their off time is kill them. When your cow ain't moving right, when it ain't working how it's supposed to be expected, you mad because the cow lazy, you gonna kill the cow? So how in the hell people say, oh, this is about this, this is just the time back then. Then you want to say they disobedient. To say somebody's disobedient because they don't want to be forced labor while you rape their women and beat their children across their head, that's a crazy world we live in, man. That's the audacity of this monster we live in. And when we talk about we got to separate from them, we talking about you got to separate for your own good. Ain't no crazy thing or magical thing about that. I mean, goddamn. If you want to survive, if this was a horror movie, the whole plot of the horror movie is to separate from the monster. Ain't that it? You got Jason with you think people try to sit down with Jason? They running from him. They run any monster you name, they are running from the monster. So how come y'all getting upset at us when we tell you run from the monster? But here's the catch though. We know how to run from the monster, and we got something that will kill it. All the movies over there, they don't never kill the monster. It'd be part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. What we telling you is we got something that will end it off right now. No sequel. No series. It's not gonna be no Netflix series. It's be just a straight part 1 movie. That's it. But y'all prolonging it, man, because y'all don't know your history. You don't know. Hey, let me get Hosea 4:6. A lot of people say that, man, it's in the past. That's in the past. The reason why you want to say it's in the past, because you don't want to face reality. Because it'll be hard for you to love your white woman if you found out what her people done did to you. And that's why they'd be like, oh, we was pecking cotton. So now when you think about picking cotton, now you think about, what they call it, the Great Migration. It was indentured servants. That we just owed a debt, because when you think about just picking cotton, you don't think of it as the bad things they did. You know what I mean? Now, read Hosea 4:6. Oh, I got to add you in that Salaki. Go ahead.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right. They are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. See, that's the issue, man. Y'all people, you want to, what all people think is that money will solve all our issues when people still never got justice for them dying. I ain't never heard no mother go on television and be like, man, you know, forget my son who died. Forget my son who got gunned down. I'm just going to start my business up and become a millionaire. You know what I mean? White people, they go through what they go through, and they be billionaires and got to go see the therapist. You know what I'm saying? Why do black people think that money fix all our issues? We got people right now. You get money, that just give people leeway to do more wickedness, man. If a man got money in a community, he could be raping all the women and nobody give a damn. Everybody knew what R. Kelly was doing. Everybody did. Everybody knew it, but it gave him a pass because what? He had money, make good music. You know what I mean? We know what people. You know what them Christian pastors be doing in the church. You know what he be doing with. He be messing with everybody's wives. You know what I'm saying? But you give him a pass because he's respected in that place, right? And you don't want to face reality because it's going to be hard to fight what you want when you realize the truth. The issue is not that people want the truth. The issue is that people don't even want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they can't even accept it. It's that don't tell me. Don't tell me that I'm doing wrong, right? And that's the issue that we're having. We're going to keep going into this more because we got a lot more to go, right? We're going to go into our next one, right? You got anything to say, Yadi? Go ahead if you got anything to say.
Well, I didn't have nothing to say. You hitting it right on the head. It's heavy, priest. I'm just listening.
Most on Christ. I'm gonna stop this screen. I'm gonna share something else real quick. My next thing I got. Shalagia. All right. This is the American genocide of the Indians, right? Now, let me see if it's on there. Y'all can see it? Yeah, swab, right? It says on July 4th, 1776, the United States of America was founded with the Declaration of Independence, which openly stated that he, the British king, has excited domestic insurrections amongst us, and he has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, and slandered Native Americans as the merciless Indian savages. And we so goddamn merciless in savages. How come you get to wipe out half our population? No, they don't. Why nobody think about that? We were so monsters. How you end up doing that? You know what I'm saying? And we were savages, merciless. What does being merciless mean? Meaning that you have the power to give mercy, but you just don't do it. How in the hell can I have the power to give out mercy then die? No, because we never had the power. We trusted you. We thought these people was our friends. Just like today, right? The U.S. government and leaders treated Native Americans with a belief in white superiority and supremacy. Set out to annihilate the Indian in the attempt to eradicate the race through cultural genocide. Of course, we know this. So they always talk about the Holocaust. Nobody ever want to talk about the Native Americans. And this is the issue we have a problem with. We have an issue when I would lose everything I have if I go in there and say I don't give a damn about the Holocaust. They'll take everything from you. If somebody right now, a mayor, a black, whoever, a position of power got on there and said something about the Holocaust, they will revoke everything from that man. And that's what I think was Whoopi Goldberg. She said something about the Holocaust. I don't even hear about her no more. I don't know what she's doing. You know what I mean? Why? Because a Jewish man owns everything. Now, you understand what about, they lie about the numbers too. About a couple million of them died on there. White on white crime ain't none. How's that different? Nobody have a memorial, a remembrance of the Civil War. The Civil War was white on white crime. They was killing each other. Now we got the so-called Holocaust. Everybody talk about that. But why nobody talk about the biggest genocide in the world with the Native Americans? Not only do they not want to talk about it, but they want to go ahead and make a feast day for it. They want to remember it. Remember what they had got, man. And the sad thing is that they want to play the good guy. Now, not only do you kill these people, but the way you remember them is by taking their culture. You realize what America do? America try to make bygones, huh? Bygones be bygones by doing what? By killing you and saying, you know what? I'm sorry, man. Let me take your culture away from you. Let me take your culture. That's how I'm gonna apologize. And they don't believe me. That's why the Native Americans, they done killed them, and the way they apologize is what? They'll make a Native American movie, and they be the ones playing them. They be the ones, they name all their military after them. Talk about strong soldier, talk about Black Hawk, naming all this stuff, right? Apache, all this stuff. That's what they do. That's what they do. And that's how they say, man, we sorry. By taking our culture. And that's why you got $5 Indians. They don't say, yo, we know all the Indians on all the casinos. No. You know, you go get you a piece of paper, say you know, how many people go there? Yeah, my grandmother was Native American. Cherokee. Man, get the hell up out of here, man. You ain't gonna go to no job office and tell them that. What you gonna tell them? I'm Caucasian. You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna do. Now, same thing with us. Of course, we deal with the exact same thing. The Jewish man, do him funding the slave trade and doing what he did. He said, well, I'm sorry for what we done did. Let me take your culture away from you. I'm gonna show you how much I like you. I'm gonna take the very single thing that make you great, and I'm going to do it. And that's what they did, man. That's what they did, and no different from what they did to Native Americans. We're gonna keep going. All right. Let me see what I want. Okay, bloody massacres and atrocities. Since the colonists set foot in North America, they had systematically, extensively hunted American bison, cutting off the source of food and basic livelihood of the Indians, and causing their death from starvation in large numbers. Man, let me tell you something, man. Let's get a matter of fact. Let's get Psalms 55 and 20. Let me see if you saw here.
I got it.
All right.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Mm-hmm.
He hath broken his covenant.
Now, why we say this? Because everybody in the world should know that, you know, Native Americans welcome them with open arms. You know what they said? Shema Yashala Yahweh Lahayana Yahweh Akkad. Right? That's what they said. They opened them up with open arms. They wasn't trying to kill them or nothing like that. And the white man said, well, you know, you made a covenant with them. What's the covenant? You know, for this, if you do this, I'll do this. That's what a covenant is. Which is why, you know, what the covenant with the Lord was. We were supposed to be doing this, and he do this for us. Right? Now, with that, he broke his covenant. We all know that he made over 500 treaties with the Native Americans, never kept none. Right? We know that. Now, read the next part.
Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Means smoother than money. Mean talk nice. What's the number one thing that kill us is that we believe in smooth words. Keep going. And but even with that, it says smoother than butter. We believe in them smooth words. Boy, that boy talk nice. You know what I mean? We fools for that. Keep going.
But war was in his heart.
But what was in his heart?
But war was in his heart.
Keep going.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
We all know what that means. You know, that's why they get their things. A lot of people think America's so strong. Or, you know how you strong? You go over there and you break covenants. That's all they do. You know what I mean? Then you get mad at the people for, you know, not still loving you, which is why they fight all them Taliban and ISIS and back there. They made a covenant with them to help them fight. As soon as they got what they did, they left them. Now they're fighting now. Everybody's like, oh, 9/11, 9/11. They hate them people for that. But just imagine the people in that country. They believe they're the right ones. America is the way to see the world because they got everybody thinking that in the whole world that they're the ones who is the good guys. No matter what part of the country you go to, people gonna think America's the good guys. Which is right now, you got them people, the Muslim people down there in the Middle East. They women over there protesting to take off their hijabs or something like that. They were trying to do that. So back then you can't get them to change their culture at all. They come over here wearing all that. Now they don't want to wear it no more. Now, only if that's the case, they got their men trying to fight for them to not wear it. Used to get scorned for not wearing that back in their land. But that's what's going on now, right? Now, I'm going to keep reading. It says, the California gold rush also brought about the California massacre, right? No, let me get right here. It says, statistics reveal that since its independence in 1776, the U.S. government has launched over 1,500 attacks on Indian tribes, slaughtering the Indians, taking their lands, and committing countless crimes. In 1814, the U.S. government decreed that it would award $50 to $100 for each Indian skull surrendered. The American historian Frederick Turner, acknowledging the significance of the frontier in American history, released in 1893 that each frontier was won by a series of wars against the Indians. The California Gold Rush also brought about the California Massacre. Peanut Burnett, the first governor of California, proposed a war of extermination against Native Americans. Extermination? We're not talking about no damn roaches or bugs. These are the Lord's chosen people. And you tell me these people don't get this, like I don't understand these people. If you watch all them old mafia movies and you mess with a mobster's child or something, a gangster's child, you like, damn, that boy, they done messed up. And what they do, their whole family died. That's what happens. Now, you don't think the Most High Power will be any different? You mess with his children, you think nothing else is going to happen to y'all? Then not only do you not think something's going to happen to y'all, y'all think y'all don't do this. The problem is y'all don't think y'all deserve it. How can you say that you don't? That's the crimes of most forefathers. Why you celebrate Thanksgiving? Everything that your forefathers did, you glad they did it. Because I said, well, would you take back what your forefathers did if it made a role reversal? Meaning I'll be over you? What they would say? Hell no. That's what they would say. Now, we'll keep going, right? It says, triggering the rising costs for the extermination of Indians in the state. In California in the 1850s and 60s, an Indian skull or scalp was worth $5, while the average daily wage was 25 cents. From 1846, it said while the average daily wage was 25 cents. Not hourly wage, daily wage. Right? So what this is, about a month's pay. You get a month's pay in what? Killing a so-called Native American Indian. What you think is going to happen? Shit, I don't think people did more for less. Ain't that's why people been doing drugs and selling drugs? They rather risk their lives doing this harmful thing for a month's check. That's what they're doing, and that's per Native American, meaning that if you had a family who killed about 5 Native Americans a day, you was wealthy. You was a wealthy family based off of murder. But what they tell us, you just work hard, you get to right spots, you get generational wealth, while they over here murdering our people. You trying to teach us the American dream, you just work a good 9 to 5, put your money in the right spaces, and you're gonna have generational wealth. You're gonna, down the line, you're gonna be a billionaire while they killing people, murdering people. Good night. Now let me see what else over here. All right, now this is basically we just talking about how, basically them being murdered. But now I want to get into, what they actually was doing, right? I'm gonna stop this real quick. We're gonna share something else, right? Let me switch this my Salakia. Pull this up. Share the screen real quick. All right, is it up? That's it? Okay. No sweat. All right. So, of course, it's in a book, right? I'll give the titles at the end of the class, right? You remind me. So it says, now we mentioned that everybody know, yeah, man, they'll murder them dudes. Now, realize what's in your head, that you got to be vivid in what you see. Everybody watching that Dahmer, that Netflix show with that serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer. they're like, man, this dude was a crazy monster. Why? Because it showed what he was doing to these people. You know, you see people get murdered every day. You see people get gunned down in the streets every day, but you don't be like, this is hell. This is an evil thing, because you're not really thinking to yourself how he's being murdered, right? That's how we think. Like, I don't, you know, he died. We're going to see how all people was getting murdered. That's what we're going to see right now. It says the early American whites were almost as cruel. Connecticut whites massacred the Pequot, Salaki, if I'm messing that up, Indians. Infants were torn from their mother's breasts and hacked to pieces. How long does a child breastfeed? A year. So these children are young babies. Man, let me tell you something about Black Hispanics and Native Americans. We wouldn't even kill a baby, a baby animal, a puppy. And they grabbing let me tell you something. You imagine you getting your child taken from your breasts. Your breast. They took your infant and what? Dashed to pieces. They didn't kill it, but dashed to pieces. Now you get mad at us when we want the same thing. Because what? David was a man of the Lord's heart, his own heart. We're gonna see what David wanted. Let me get that preset in Psalms, I believe. I'm gonna give it to you. It's Psalms 137, verse 9. Yeah, get that for me, Baba Gashah. Because we just said what they did, right? We realized they did what? They took our babies and dashed them to pieces. Now let's see. Y'all never heard about this in the Bible, and the Christians don't know about this in the Bible. They're gonna say this is a mistranslation right here. Read it when you got it, please.
Con. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 9. Happy shall he be.
Matter of fact, start at verse 1.
Con. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion.
We cried, we remember Zion. We remember the good condition we was in, right? We in Babylon, we struggling, we down here bad. Keep going.
Verse 2. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof.
Right. Morning, keep going.
Verse 3. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song.
What does that mean? For there that they carried us away captive required of us a song.
I get a crack at it.
Go ahead.
You talking about the slaves when they seem like they Negro spirituals and stuff? It was captive.
But think about it like this. They done did all this to us, but how, okay, for example, you gonna do something to people, then you gonna require me to do something? Not only did you take me, but now you require me to sing you a song while I'm doing it. What you got to put the spirit behind it? Not no literal song. You don't think about it as a literal song. But even with that, you can too, because we do things what? We get in Hollywood and all they do, they make us sing songs for them. This is talking about we the entertainment. Not only do they make us work for us, but now we got to entertain them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We weep in the morning and we got to entertain you now after you held us captive. Keep going.
Con. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
Yeah, now you want to, go ahead, do your little dance. Go ahead and go, boy. Go play in the NFL for me, boy. Go dribble that basketball, boy. Shut up and dribble, boy. Go sing me that good song you spin. Go sing me that jazz music. Go sing it good before I kill you. If I kill your family. Now, drop down to verse 7.
Verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
They was praying on our downfall. That's what they did. We was going through it. They like, raise it. I mean, let it burn. You know what I mean? That's what they was doing it, man. That's what they was doing. Keep going. They want to make sure that, they always envied us. You know what I mean? You know, when Jacob was seeing his brother Esau, what he happened? He was trying to apologize. He was scared. You know what I mean? But what they looking at us like, man, I can't wait till these niggas die. You know what I mean? And Jacob was nervous and he was scared and he didn't even do nothing wrong. That's the deep part about it. He didn't do nothing wrong. All he did was what his mother told him to do to receive his blessing. After Esau already promised it to him, but he knowing how Esau, his mother knowing that the seed shall be from him, knowing how Esau breaks covenants, breaks deals. She like, boy, you're gonna have to get this blessing the hard way because he gonna lie to you, not give it to you. And he had to do all that to get what was owed to him. And in the midst of that, he felt bad about it. He felt bad about it. And let me tell you something. You know that what his mother did was not against God because she never was punished for it. If she did something wrong, she would have been punished for it. Right? But what, back to my other point, he felt bad about it, and that's just how we are today. Black and Hispanic Americans, if we want to do the Lord say do, and we try to go do it, now we feel bad about it. We have a shame that we should not have, and that goes all the way back into the garden. We have this, Adam and Eve had the shame for following God. Had the shame for doing the right thing. Now we're in the day, we have the shame for doing the right thing because I don't want to do your drugs. I don't want to sleep with whores no more. I don't want to celebrate a day that's responsible for the murder of my Native American brothers. I mean, I live with that shame. I live with that shame every day, and that's what we got to understand, man. Now, you was on the precept. Yeah, keep going. I'm gonna read this again and give me that precept I was waiting for. Watch. Now, this is righteous. This is right. This is what you call vengeance. That's what the Lord said. Vengeance is His. Because if it was up to you, you wouldn't get vengeance for your babies being dashed to pieces. I don't know. You probably just ask for no taxes. That's what you be asking for. You ask like, man, I won't be a full man. I won't be 3/5 a man no more. I want to have the right to vote. I want to, don't let me pay taxes no more. I want my 40 acres and a mule back. That would be your just for them throwing your babies, hacking your babies to pieces. We're going to find out what the Lord's judgment going to be for that. I'm going to read it again. It said the early American whites were almost as cruel. Connecticut was massacred the Indians. Infants were torn from their mother's breasts and hacked to pieces. Now read what you got.
Verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
That rewarded thee as thou hast served us. That's what's going to happen, man. We're going to be rejoicing and doing the same thing that they did unto us. Now go ahead, verse 9.
Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
What? Nah, brother. Brother, that's not in the Bible. I know who that is. That's David? Nah, brother. What you must be in that wrong translation, brother.
I can read it again.
Oh, go ahead then. I don't know, brother. My pastor never told me that.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
See, I don't know, brother. See, brother, that's why I can't fool with you. It's like y'all just, y'all got hate in your heart. Y'all got hate in your heart. David never had hate. That can't be David. All right. Now we read this in the Bible, right, Yadia? But see what we understand why the Lord, David was, David was a righteous man. Right? Now, you think you gotta understand this? His heart was like the Lord's. He wanted what the Lord wanted. And he said this, which means what? The Lord wanted this. The Lord wanted this for you. And you fighting that. I'm going to keep reading on this thing we got real quick.
If I could.
Oh, go most on Christ. Go ahead.
I want to add something. What you're saying is heavy. Even all the Christians, if they don't even want to look at this and they want to combat with the Bible and say it's not real, it's a different version. I mean, the Christians love to go to Galatians. They can go right there to the 6th chapter and the 7th verse when it says the Lord is not mocked. Whatsoever a man reapeth, he also soweth. So,
Right.
you know, it's gonna come back onto you. They ain't even gotta look at this scripture, but the Lord say it's gonna come back unto them. So, all right.
Damn right, priest. And what you said was so heavy because what you said was just practical knowledge. You know what I mean? Everybody said you reap what you sow, and like, goddamn, well, we gonna forget what they done sold down? We're gonna forget what they sold down. After this, we're gonna get that precept. I'm gonna get that precept. Remind me. Yeah, let me read this finish real quick. All right. Remember, I want a precept. This remind me I want a precept. I might forget. All right. It says infants were torn from their mother's breast and hacked to pieces. The heads of the parents were chopped off and kicked about the streets. Good night. Let me tell you something. You know, you probably see a head cut off from my body and start gagging. They over here playing soccer with your head. Well, who this? Oh, you know, when you're young, you told not to, you know, let me tell you something. An animal don't even play with their food. Animals literally are killers. Like lions, they kill. They don't go around playing with no corpse. They kicking your heads down the street. And you want to love these people. No, usually in war, you know, you have acts of war. You got to, you know, certain things you can't react in war. You know, you know, right now they want to make it seem like they wasn't like this because in the military you got like, you know, rules of engagement. You know, you get in trouble if you kill somebody a certain way. What was the rules of engagement when you was going to war with us? What was this being at? You know what I mean? What was the rules of engagement? I thought you would put 3 shots in my body. Now they like you realize the rules of engagement is for everybody but Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because you could come down here and put 60 holes in my back, then put handcuffs on me. While you running away from your white counterparts. You running away from him while he has a knife, a weapon in his hand. Or why they shooting up places and you not trying to go. You know, cops only shoot people down who don't have guns. That's who they shoot. And they find a white boy who got guns, they put him on a pedestal. Kyle Rittenhouse, that man probably, ever since that incident, that man got more followers and more money. Now he made a name for himself. Now he's a representation of what America is, and people should realize that, man. Now, it says, Governor Bradford wrote, it was a fearful sight to see them frying in the fire, and the streams of blood quenching the same, and terrible was the stank and stench thereof. But the victory seemed a sweet sacrifice, and they, the whites, gave praise thereof to God. They gave praise to whatever they was to that white Caesar boy, to that white image of Jesus, that Caesar Borgia. They gave praises to him for killing your brothers. Now, what you going and half y'all are serving the same God that they were serving. This is what they got responsible for. I'm gonna keep going. Let me see if I want some more. Less than a century and a half after Columbus, the Indians were virtually extinct in such older colonies in Santo Domingo, Cuba, and Jamaica. Seco thinks that they had exclusive use continued, they will all have perished everywhere. Meaning what? These people right here, they would have went almost extinct if it wasn't for something else they could have been gave to them, benefited from them. You know what I mean? Now you see, this is supposed to be their land. You barely see a Native American walking around. They stuck up in reservations. You know how much death and murder you got to do for some people like that, man? That is crazy. Now, let me see if I want my next one. All right. All right. Shalaki. I want to see what I want to read. All right. I'm going to start right here. It says pilgrims as drunks and sodomites. See, what you gonna understand is that when, you know, when they was shipping people off to the Americas, they wasn't shipping their best people off. I mean, of course, we know all America's a bunch of, you know, brute beasts, homosexual monsters, bestiality, and all that what they do. But just imagine they bring all these people down here, you know, they worse of they worse. Just imagine you have, you know, they got a worse nation already. The average white man is, you know, is wicked. So this is a worse of, like, what could be worse than what he is? Now you got what's his name, Jeffrey Dahmers? People like that walking around, right? And that's the people we greeted. You can understand what happened after that, right? Now, it says, even the early pilgrims of the New England, though very pious or were forced to appear so, or were first forced to appear so weren't all the hard working, very desirable characters we've been led to believe. I mean that these people wasn't what we thought they was when they made it talk about the Mayflower and all them pilgrims was these so nice people. Sat down with the Native Americans, had a big old feast. Man, this is not what that we was taught. This is what our children are being taught in schools, right? Governor Bradford, writing in 1642 of the severity of punishments in his colony, said, and yet all this could not suppress the breaking out of the sundry notorious sin, especially drunkenness and uncleanliness, not only in, in continuance between persons unmarried, for which many, both men and women, have been punished sharply, but some married persons. But that which is even worse, sodomy, meaning that these people was committing adultery, sleeping with whoever they want to sleep with, married or not, and they was doing what? What's even worse than that? Sodomy. They was getting drunk and having sex with each other. And I don't want to get too much into it, but you go down to they was doing it in your so-called Christmas. That's what they was doing too. Any big feast day of a white man, they got to have some sodomy into it. That Christmas tree y'all celebrating, that's an African rod. That's what they doing. Everything in America is about homosexuality, and that's why they trying to give it to your children. Go ahead, Priest Salaki. I didn't see your hand.
No, you good. You good. What you're saying is absolutely heavy. I just wanted to say a quick precept to what you're saying is Psalms, I think 58 and verse 3. That they are wicked and estranged from the womb, and they be born as soon as they be born, they be speaking lies. It ties in everything that you're saying with the Caesar Borgia, with the Christmas, and how they cover up and they're really drunks and sodomites and all this, etc. Like they've been wicked since birth. So that's why they have this entire culture. It's been in them since they were kids, in their DNA. It's a lot.
No, damn right, Priest, because like you said, like they trying to fight it. That's in them. Because if it's not in you, how can you do such a thing and be like, I'm living my truth? You know what I mean? I'm talking about these are the first people. That's what their first mind was all like, who can I rape? Which man I can sleep with? And that's why in John, the 8th chapter, what it said, you of your father the devil, because the things we do is just what we stole from them. You know what I'm saying? That's how, we don't have Black and Hispanic Americans. We left our real father to go to our stepdaddy that beats on us. That's what we did. We getting raped and molested and beat on by our stepdaddy. And we think that we love our stepdaddy more than our real father, when our real father ain't never did nothing wrong to us. Because our mama, America, want to tell us that that's our good daddy right there. Now we can't be following your daddy. Your daddy ain't good. Because he punishes and he did what he's supposed to do. Good night. Now, this is even crazy because it says, nevertheless, Mayflower ancestry is still considered the highest in the United States, meaning that most people came from that Mayflower. And the Mayflower was full of nothing but sodomites. And people just raping, pillaging. Can you imagine, raping somebody, then as soon as you get done, you cutting their heads off and then you kicking it down the street. Then you had a feast with all the dead bodies right there. Let's go to the next thing, man. One day our people gonna learn either to, separate or you just gonna die with these people. Like Nat Turner said, you first gotta start off with the people who love the other people. And a lot of people y'all don't understand is that the reason why we push the law, statute, and commandments so much, because everybody said we got to worry about economics. We got to worry about X, Y, and Z. We got to worry about this. What y'all doing with this? What you're doing with that? The law, statute, and commandments is the basis and the foundation to get to everything else. Because how can I fight for something that not everybody believe in? How can we both understand? How can me, myself, want to, everybody like the idea we need to get more guns and weapons, right? How the hell I'm going to give a gun and a weapon to a man who loves white women? While my mission is to go over there and destroy them. They're going to turn around and shoot me. That's common sense, right? But if we understand we follow the base of the law, statutes, and commandments, we know we could do what we set our minds to do, because not only are we under the same rule and I could trust you because you going to trust me, but I know God going to be with us. You know what I'm saying? And there's a so dope part about it is when you got God with you, he don't require you to pick up the guns and get vengeance for these people. He's going to do it for you. And why wouldn't God want you to get vengeance for these people? Because if you did, you would be cheating them out their death. You would be cheating them out their punishment. These people did years worth of damage and atrocities to you. And you thinking what? Shooting some white boy in the street going to give justice to you? Boy, you must be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself. The type of justice I want, the type of justice you want on two different levels. You know what I'm saying? Let's go some more. It says, Laborers, they massacred them and fed their flesh to dogs. Las Salakia again on that. Las Kazas account of this is one of the most horrifying of all documents on man's inhumanity to man. They even sent Indians to be sold in Europe. Columbus himself took 400 for sale there in 1498. Everybody love Columbus. Is it about? I don't even know. I think they just now banned that day. I don't know if they still have it in the school. Columbus Day, Indigenous Day. Not only do you take away that's the thing about it though. The way you apologize is just to take away Columbus out the name and call it indigenous. If you ask me, that's more of a mockery to me. Why not just call it what it is? Call it what it is. Call it like y'all celebrating Christopher Columbus because he's responsible for giving America what they have today. Call it what it is. You put it, what America didn't realize is that they could just name words, name things a different word, and just do the same exact thing, the same way how they worship and serve that thing, and they'd be fine about it. Black people love them for it. That's it. They can realize they can make movies about, about Africans selling black people, and they say they're just black people. And you know what I mean? Oh yeah, most I get it. The sister say like it's like Thanksgiving. Like, let me just, and that was so deep what she just said because it jogged my mind to everything else America done did. Because you got Thanksgiving, they be like, it's for the family. It's for the family. Well, I know it's for the 70s. I know it's really about the 77 million Native Americans who got murdered, whose heads got kicked off like soccer balls. I know it's for the babies who got dashed to pieces. I know it's for the men, the Native American men who was being burned and fed to dogs. I know it's about that, but for us, it's about family.
If I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
To what y'all saying, to what the sister said, she brought a heavy point and you added on to it. If you really look at it, when they say it's for the family, yeah, it is for their family. They Caucasian family, the world of
Right.
America, that family. It ain't for the family of the nation of Israel. It's for their spiritual white daddy that they so put on a pedestal so much. That family. That's
Right.
the family we're worried about.
No, damn right. Damn right, Priest. I gotta give you a hand on that one. Because that went back to what we said in John 8 and 4. That John 8 and 4. You want to pull that? We want to pull that right now?
Kyle, I'll pull it.
All right. Is that right what you said?
I got it, priest.
Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
The lust of your father you would do, man. Everything you do in this world, and that's why Christ said, you should know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And that's why they said, we ain't never been in bondage. We Abraham seed. We ain't never been slaves. We always been free men.
Right.
That's what they told Christ when he said that. Because the same, they told Christ that. This is how we tell all people that. We tell them, man, you of your father the devil. The lust of your father you would do. And when you under lusts, what that mean? That mean you under a bondage. You can't control yourself. You a damn near beast. Animals don't control themselves. They got beastly instinct, and that's what you go off of, a beastly instinct, because you have your father the devil. That's what it is. How can you my thing is this: you willing to kill somebody for less. A black man will kill a black man because he owe him $10 off of respect. What a respect that when these people was taking your children and dashing them to pieces. What was you demanding you respect that then? What was you demanding you respect that then when they was raping your women, feeding your brothers to dogs? What was your pride at then? But no, you want to put your pride to your brother who ain't never did nothing like this in his life. Good night. Let's see if we got some more. But that's it on that. Let me see. I want to bring out one more thing, brother. I want to bring out one more thing about this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick if I could. Shalakia. That thing be screen share. All right. All right. All right. It's gonna be our last thing, right? So this is the legend of Hatwai, right? Shalakia, I'm saying that wrong. Right. So basically, he was just a brother. He was a Native American brother, and Christians, of course, the conquistadors, which just means conquerors. Right. They came over here and they pushed into Christianity. Now we just read that they used to feed them the dogs. They also did this why? Because why would you feed these people the dogs? Because they wasn't accepting Christianity. It wasn't accepting that religion that was pushing onto the people. Right. Because our people knew who they was. We knew that we served the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and we wasn't doing that. The whole reason why we left into the Americas is to serve our God. That's the whole reason why we left. You can find that in the Apocrypha. Now, with that being said, what this brother did was so biblical. Was so biblical, and we're gonna bring it down right now. All right. It says, I'm gonna try to find the quote. It says, through a traitor, Velasquez was able to surround and capture Hatwai, meaning that through a traitor, meaning somebody, was fighting for his own self. A lot of people don't understand with the Native Americans, what happened with Thanksgiving, what started with it was that, a Native American brother, he was shipped to slavery to Europe from America and came back. And what he did was he tried to make a deal with the so-called Europeans, right? He made a deal with the so-called Europeans to show them the land and how to farm and everything, but they won't kill him. That's what he did. So he kind of sold his people out because after they did that, what they did, they stole everything from him and they live a good life because they showed him all the ways, right? I think his name was I'm not gonna say it. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's like it's all this. I'll get it later. Right? But we're gonna read what this says, right? What was that? On February 2nd, 1512, Hatway, right, was tied to a stake at the Spanish camp where he was burned alive, right? He was burned alive. Just before lighting the fire, a priest offered him spiritual comfort. Good night. Showing him the cross and asking him to accept Jesus Christ and go to heaven. Look at these damn devils. I'm over here being burnt alive. You're going to put Jesus in my face and tell me after I die, I'm going to go to heaven? And look what this brother done said, man. I can't make this up. Look what this brother done said. He said, are there people like you in heaven? He asked. And the dude said, there are many like me in heaven. Answered the priest. And he answered that he wanted nothing to do with a God that will allow such cruelty to be unleashed in his name. Right? What he said is that, well, shoot, well, you want to go to heaven? And if your God was in heaven, I want to go to hell. I want to go wherever y'all not. If y'all going to be in heaven, I'm going to hell. That's what the brother said. Now, I'm going to get my last precept. Let's get my last precept. Go to the Maccabees. Salagia. All right, let me get second Maccabees 7:31. We're gonna end it off through verse 35.
John, I got you. I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead, Baba Kushan.
No sweat. This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 31 in the Apocrypha. And thou, that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews.
Meaning what? And when you find something going on in our neighborhoods and why we can't get right and something that's going on, is because he is the author of all mischief. When you go around and turn your head, he's going to be there. He's going to be responsible for all the crimes in your neighborhood, all the death in your neighborhood. He's going to be there because he's the one. He's the one who go makes us sin. They're going to run to God, but hey, look at these supposed to be your people. I told you to get that blessing to me. That's what he does. Keep going.
Shalt not escape the hands of God.
You're not going to escape the hands of God. Keep going.
Verse 32. For we suffer because of our sins.
Meaning, The only reason why this is happening to us, the only reason why they got away, I'm not even gonna say got away what they did, because this is a marathon. All y'all want to talk about is a marathon, not a race? Well, I believe you, brother. This is a marathon, not a race. You might think you might have had us in the first quarter, probably in the second quarter. But now in the third quarter, it look like things tying up. Look like things tying up in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, finna come, and that's gonna be Christ. We're gonna see who's gonna win in the fourth quarter. That's when the game ends. Keep going.
Verse 33. And though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction.
A little while. You see, the thing is, a day to the Lord is like 1,000 years. Sure, you know what I mean? Like, this is a little time for the Lord put us through this correction, man. But to us, it's like been like hell.
Right.
Keep going.
Yet shall he be at one again with his servants.
The Lord gonna be one again with his servants, man. When that day come, you're gonna see who his servants is. You're gonna see if your brother in Christ gonna survive. That white man you call a brother in Christ, you're gonna see if he's a servant of God. You're gonna see them Gentiles in those days. You're gonna see them spiritual Israelites in those days. Keep going.
Verse 34. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God.
Meaning, like, boy, if you don't sit your behind down, who is you? That's what it's like. Who is you? Keep going.
Verse 35. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, who seeth all things.
That's it right there. You ain't escape nothing. What you realizing is we just getting started. Because what? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that follow after, right?
Right.
We just getting started. Christ's kingdom gonna last forever. And we're gonna experience that. I do think I want to give me verse. I actually skipped the verse I really wanted. Let me get verse 18 because we talk about the brother who said, this killed me. I'm not gonna want to go to your heaven. Go to verse 18 real quick.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 18. After him also they brought the six, who being ready to die said.
Now this is the says she had 7 sons, right? And your mother had 7 sons. They was hardcore, one West, hard body, right? And they was like, they wasn't trying to sin against that God, right? And that woman, she was hardcore as well. And she like, y'all better go out like warriors, right? And remember, I'm bringing this out because before he died, before this man was burnt alive, they were trying to give him a new religion. They were trying to give him that false ideology, right? This is the exact same thing that's going on over here. Hey, you gotta say this to the people. Do this. Because they were trying to make him eat the pork. That's what they were trying to do. Made him do something against God. While he's over here, he's burning alive. And he's like, damn. If he was a Christian, he'd have been like, where my God at? You know what I'm saying? Where God at? Why God's not helping me out? These brothers could have been like, why God's not helping me out right here? But their whole mind was different. Keep going.
Be not deceived without cause. For we suffer these things for ourselves.
Right.
Having sinned against our God.
Right.
Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. Verse 19.
What? Great things, crazy things. You think like that? Like all these atrocities are happening unto us because of what we done did. But verse 19, go ahead.
Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
Same thing. Let me see. Salakia. Let me just make sure. I want it. That's good. How read that again? Read the last part again.
Time. Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
So what is so now we understand what a lot of people got an issue with what they're like. Well, it was your fault. What I mean? Why y'all talk about white people so much? If it's your fault, why white people gotta get judged? They just doing their job. Well, let me tell you something. After your mama get done whooping your behind with that stick, what happened to that stick? She gonna throw that stick away, and that's how goddamn Esau gonna have to go. The Lord used him as a whooping stick, but the Lord gonna crack that stick. He crack that stick, and throw it away. Forever could be gone. And that's what the Lord gonna do with this. Because all they is a chastising, all they is a whooping stick. That's all you is to the Lord. That's why they're so angry. Can you imagine this being that? This being nothing, just used for a tool to punish the people he really love. It's like when people in the world, of course, you know what I'm saying? When people get somebody, they get like a rebound person just to make the other person jealous. And they make people mad, make people angry. The same thing, man. Right? Now, with that, we got any questions on lounge? Any questions? So you get the security announcements real quick, Baba Kasha.
If I could, to add to that, what you're saying,
Most guys, go ahead, please.
real quick, because what you're saying is heavy. And that's how you know that anything dealing with the Bible or the Most High of Christ, these are black people. Just based on some of the things that they're saying, like the brother brought out, he said, whenever, the white man got to go like that whooping stick, only blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know this. The only way that you won't feel the pain of that whooping stick or the pain of the Edomites and, the Arabs is if you follow the law, statutes, and commandments. They're the whooping that's whooping you because you're sinning against our God. We won't have to go through that affliction and pain if we separate from them and follow what our God says. Then we won't have to feel that whooping stick no more. You won't have to go through that affliction if you just follow what God says. So what you're saying is absolutely heavy. You won't have to feel that whooping stick. You won't even have to get tossed out because I'm following the law, statutes, and commandments. I no longer can feel that pain.
Right. That's damn right, Prince. Like you said, that's the what you just broke down to them was the easy thing. Why I gotta wait to see how hard the stick hurts?
Right.
Why touch the? Why does not believe when your father say the stove is hot?
Right.
Because we taught in life that we gotta, in order. It was so deep about what you just said, priest. When the serpent came to Eve, he was trying to beguile them by saying that you should know the knowledge of good and evil. Why would somebody want to know the knowledge of evil?
Right.
Because it's just like what we just broke down. Like people are persuaded by that because, brother, how can you be so against weed if you never tried it? Right. You know what I'm saying? How can you know how hot the stove really is if you don't touch it? Well, you never got behind with him before. You never lived life. You never lived life. You never got your behind whooped. And that's what we are dealing with right now as a people. We love the knowledge of evil more than we love the knowledge of good. Because the knowledge of evil is respected. When a man knows evil things in life, he's a respected man. Right. But the good man is hated. The man who only knows the knowledge of good, he is hated in the earth. You know how I know? Because Christ only knows the knowledge of the good. And he died for that. He died because he didn't want the knowledge of evil. And with that, you got anything else to say? Matter of fact, I do got another precept.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep talking. My last one, y'all. I know y'all gonna talk about me. Let me get Hebrews 12 and 16. Because this is what you gotta understand is the reason why this man in the world is Esau do what he do, because he don't give a damn. He don't think about what's gonna be the consequence, which is why he led all his sins as reach to heaven right now, because he never gave a damn to begin with. He never, like the things he do, he's willing to do it right now because he don't think about what's going to happen in the future. He just thinks about what's going to happen right now. You understand? Read what that say.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright. It said any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Now you have Christians say that Jacob was the wrong one. Jacob lied to him and did all that. When this preacher just said that he was this profane person. Why? Because why? You telling me you was willing to give up your birthright, the best thing you had, for a morsel of meat? Nigga, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. We had that birthright. You gonna have to kill me for it. And that's what he did. What he wants, he's willing to do anything he wants for what he wants right now. Which is why, what movie was that? That movie on Netflix, that white show, that weird white show, Riverdale. That boy, that's the show he played on, right? They killed his mother. He probably just wanted some damn fruit snacks or something. He probably wanted a morsel of meat, and he wanted his meat right then and there. His mom didn't give it to him, so his mama had to go. Them Europeans wanted this land. The Native Americans wasn't having them, so the Native Americans had to go. You don't give a damn about what you do. You don't know the repercussions of what you got to do, man. The repercussions of what's going to happen to what you got to do, because you just want it right now. That's why we can't fight with this man with his ways, because he just way better than being wicked than we can. We don't have the nerve in our stomach to go kill our own mothers and fathers. Them niggas at 8 years old gonna kill their own fathers and mothers. Go ahead.
If I could, this is my last thing I'll say, because you dropping it heavy. But that whole thing that you just said about the white man, their spirit that they have is the entire spirit of the entire religion of Christianity. I want it now. I want my money and I want it now. They don't have faith. They don't have faith like the real priests and prophets of the world in the ISUPK. We have faith and understand. We're here for the long run, not the short run. They're here for a short period of time, and that's why they can't elevate, because within all these religions, it's I need it now. That's why they pray so much, and they think, like you said earlier in the class, they start getting money and this and that. They think they blessed. It's happening right then and there, when they don't understand the repercussions of the things that has to come to pass for the future. And that's why they simply can't survive. And that's why the white man must go.
Right. Damn right, priest. Damn right, man. Because what you said, that probably is going to be my last thing I say. I ain't going to pull no precept, man. But what you said was so heavy, because you said like they want it now, which is so deep, because the faith, they always want faith like Abraham, faith like Noah. Noah took 40 years to build that ark. You don't have faith like him. And what's so deep about it, when a Christian prays, they asking God to fix their whatever they're praying for right then and there. Whatever they in a situation they get into, they praying right then and there to get fixed right then and there. Whatever they ask, they need to happen right now. And if God don't do it right now, the hell with him. And let me tell you something. Not only do they pray right then and there, right now, they are praying as God for the wicked, for the things that God's against. That's what they would do, man. Go ahead.
If I could, and after this, I'm gonna get the security announcement for you, priest. What you just said was heavy, because you just broke down is the exact reason why they have multiple denominations of Christianity. Because if I don't get it right now, then I'll go be the Baptist church. Well, maybe the new Methodists pray a different way and I could obtain some things right now. But no, they ain't doing it right. I might as well go be Muslim. They pray a different way and they can obtain them things right now because of the way they're praying to their so-called fake God. And that's why we have all these different religions, because everybody thinks you can pray a different way to obtain gifts from the Lord, when those are false pagan gods. So and that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna get the security announcement for you. I'm gonna be here all day.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna get the security announcement, man.
I got you. These are ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK, starting out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Group for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. which can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and also in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra, 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you. Give the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
Upcoming holy convocations, we've got a Day of Atonement. There's the 10th day of the 7th month, which is Tuesday the 4th of October. You can find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 27 to verses 32.
If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and or scarf. And that concludes the ISUPK security announcement, passing the class back to Officer Godine.
And with that, we're going to Madium. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Madium means stand, Salaki. Right? Just repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabashmaya, Wadash, Ayah, Sukkah, Yahweh, Lakaka, Daba'ab, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratza, Kawa, Hayah, Mashamaya, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Kal, Wam, Salaklanawa, Kawawathia, Kasalaknawa, Kawawathia, Wala'ab, Tabia'anawa, Nasayaman, Abal, Anawa, Yan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Wahala, Wahatapa, Lawa Yonyum, Aman, in the English. Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, that will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. But deliver us from evil. In the power, in the glory, forever. With that, we're going to give a credit to the brothers, men of Israel, Amadium Shabbat, Amadium, Barak, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak. Right? Now we're going to give a credit to the sisters, Sister Stan, Amadium, right? Men of Israel, Amadium Shabbat, Amadium, Barak, Yahweh Shema, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, with that, dismiss.
Yeah.